The House Ways and Means Committee on Friday, this day, convened the first hearing on the Internal Revenue Service's targeting of conservative groups. On that committee, longtime serving public servant, Democrat from Washington, Jim McDermott. Congressman, good to have you with us.
Good to be here, Ed.
What sideshow are we tap dancing to today?
Let me tell you how I look at it, Ed. The issue here in Washington, D.C. is that we are implementing the Affordable Care Act for all Americans on the 1st of October. And the Republican Party is out of their mind trying to figure out how to stop it. We voted yesterday for the 37th time to repeal it. That was foolish. They're looking for everything. Now they're blaming the IRS thing and saying, well, the IRS is going to be running your health care system. You're going to hear that all over the airwaves over the next weekend as people try and scare people to death.
Here's Michelle Bachmann on that. Listen to this.
It is crucial that we ask these questions now when the most sensitive, personal, intimate information, our health care information, will be all centralized in a national federal database. Who will have access to that database? For what purpose? Will our most personal, sensitive information be used to deny health care or to delay access to health care? Or could it be possible that our sensitive information could be used to blackmail Americans?
Now, Congressman, this is all pie-in-the-sky thinking. This is all fear-mongering, isn't it?
Yeah. She either is ignorant of what the facts are, or she is deliberately misleading the American people. I asked the IRS guy who was sitting there in front of us, the acting director, is there any truth to the fact that medical records will be put into the IRS because of the Affordable Care Act? And he said, no. And I asked it again, and he said, no. And the fact is that they are just fear-mongering and trying to connect this problem they had with tax-exempt organizations and the Affordable Care Act. They're trying to draw a line between it, and that's what Michelle Bachmann, they just give her those talking points and send her out to talk. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
So October 1st, the full implementation of the Obamacare, they're using the IRS issue because the IRS, of course, is going to have to be involved in the implementation of this, aren't they?
You're going to have the IRS decide how much money you have and, therefore, how much subsidy we should give you to help you buy your premium. The small business is going to have to be involved. They're going to have to give some records on their financial stuff, not on their personal medical data, but on the financial stuff. The IRS is clearly going to be involved. They are the central agency in this country that handles all the taxes.
Your thoughts on what the IRS is going through right now? Some resignations and whatnot, somewhat of a cleaning of house right now. But let's get back to the original. I mean, I personally believe that this is all an offshoot from Citizens United and them having to come up with a new category on how to deal with these, quote, social welfare groups that are doing nothing but raising money and forking money into political campaigns. But are you dismayed at the activities of the IRS?
Well, you know, they were doing their due diligence. That is, there's their responsibility to figure out who should they give a tax exemption to? And they were going about that process. Now, they did it stupidly, and they did it in a way that has brought down a lot of problems for the agency. But they did not, as far as I can see, no one, the Inspector General hasn't said there was any criminal activity or any political activity. It was just dumb in the way they set it up because it looks bad. It looks like they were targeting. They weren't really targeting because so many of these things were 501c4s that came in as a result of the decision by the Supreme Court.
But do you think that there were some personal feelings amongst IRS personnel that said, okay, we're going to go get these people?
No, I really don't. I think they were trying to do their job, and they were inundated. We've cut their budget again and again and again, and they had suddenly they had a quadrupling of the number of applications that came in. Everybody wants their application dealt with today or tomorrow, and here they got to ask all these questions.
What do you mean a quadrupling of applications? You mean of returns?
No, they had As soon as Citizens United was decided, everybody then went out and said, well, now we're going to form a 501c4, and we're going to start having our donors be hidden, because that's what a 501c4 allows you to do.
Sure.
You can hide your donors, and then we're going to start raising hell in the political process. And they were just inundated with people running in and saying, hey, we're clean. We should be allowed to do this. And they did what you should do.
So why did they apologize, Congressman?
Well, because they set up criteria that sounded like they were going after only Tea Party. They were going after any organization that's primary activity was not social welfare. And if it had, you can do some politics, but it can't be the main purpose of your organization.
So do you think that this whole IRS thing is somewhat spinning out of control?
Oh, yeah. No, it's being spun deliberately out of control because it serves the narrative they want, which is that they want to make the IRS seem like a bad operation, and therefore Obamacare is a bad operation.
Well, anybody that gets audited doesn't feel good about it. I mean, that's just human nature. But, I mean, they're making it sound as if there were a bunch of Obama supporters and a bunch of liberal Democrats at the IRS that got together for lunch and said, all right, let's go after these people.
Yeah, well, that did not happen.
Okay.
At least that's the Inspector General did not find political motivation, and he makes that clear. I mean, he says it in black and white in the report. So the spinning is they're saying it, and people are believing it, even though they haven't read what the man actually said.
Okay. So only two witnesses were scheduled at the hearing today, and that's Stephen T. Miller, the acting IRS commissioner, who was forced to resign by President Obama, and J. Russell George, the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, whose report on the program fanned a political tempest, no question about it. So anything of significance come out this morning? No,
there was nothing. They simply are trying to build a case to make, to use in their continuing attack on Affordable Care Act. You are going to see that continuously, Ed, from now until November, because it's going in, and more people are figuring out it's good for them. And it's getting harder and harder for the Republicans to sell this. They lost in this last election. They tried to sell it to the American people. The American people laughed at them.
This is more Michelle Bachmann right here.
Many people have said this issue is dead. Many people have said that Obamacare is here to stay. We are here as the people's representatives, as real people from across the United States, to say this issue is now revived. It is back on the table.
Really? Back on the table. And real people, by the way. Congressman, you're probably not a real person, and I'm not either, but
I have a good time listening to her talk, because she really doesn't know what she's talking about, and I feel sorry that the American people are being forced to listen to this kind of stuff where they are not getting the truth about what this is all about. And the 24/7 news cycle has a way of really screwing things up, because people quickly put stuff out there before they know the facts.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Well, we're going to show them a fact tonight. Or tomorrow night at 5:00 Eastern Time.
Good.
I'm going to have a story about a gentleman who would be affected by Obamacare, who has cancer, who doesn't have insurance, and these are the people that the Republicans are affecting.
Yep.
And that's really where we need to be. Jobs, the economy, and health care that drives our economy in so many facets. That's really where we need to be focused, and the Republicans are more interested in AP phone records and Benghazi and IRS, and it's just amazing. It's all an effort to hoodwink and disfocus. I totally believe that.